Now, I don't know how everybody else felt about this Monday Night Raw, but I honestly think this was the best Monday Night Raw of the year so far. We had everything. I'm going to go over everything, but this show had literally everything. It flowed so well. I think this is the best Raw of the year. Before we get into everything in the review, leave in the comments down below, what did you think about this episode of Monday Night Raw? We opened the show with a whole bunch of masked men once again. I think it was at least a dozen once again this time, as Seth Rollins rolls into the ring, reveals himself as one of the many masked men, says he wants to take down the Vision, and then Paul Heyman shows up with like a black eye. He's got red veins in his eyes. He's all kinds of sorts of messed up. His beard hasn't been shaved in a while. His clothes are a little disheveled. And he starts freaking out on Seth Rollins. And the only thing that Paul Heyman can do at this point is bring out the only person that can pretty much take down Seth Rollins. Because let's be honest, Austin Theory and Logan Paul aren't doing that. He brings out Brock Lesnar. Lesnar comes out, hands his hat and coat to Heyman, and proceeds to take out every single masked man that is on the outside of the ring. Brock then goes inside the ring. The lights go out. I have no idea what's going on. And then Oba Femi's music hits. He marches his way down. Seth is standing in the corner of the ring, just watching this happen. Oba comes in. Seth steps to Brock Lesnar just a little bit, and then Seth drops to the floor, rolls out the ring. We don't see Seth again. Brock has his eyes laser focused on Seth Rollins. As he turns around, Oba Femi pops him up, picks him up, and slams him down for a powerbomb, putting his foot on Brock Lesnar's chest and pointing at the WrestleMania sign. What a freaking way to start Monday Night Raw. My one and only gripe about it, and this is me being very, extremely nitpicky because they don't answer it at all. What did LA Knight do with Paul Heyman when he was in the ambulance? Like, what did he do with him? Did he just take him to the local medical facility? Did he beat up on him some more? And that's why he's got the black eye and all that? Like, can we get an explanation as to what happened between Paul Heyman and LA Knight? Next, we get a very good match between El Grande Americano and El Grande Americano. The match would eventually end in one of the Bravo brothers. I think it's Rayo Bravo. I can't even remember right now. We have the new El Grande Americano. He's out laying on the ground as the OG Americano is dealing with the other half of Los Americanos. The one of Los Americanos dives into the ring, puts this little steel plate inside the new Americano's mask as he's laid out. OG Americano is able to get up onto the turnbuckle, do a diving headbutt onto the new Americano, knocks himself out, and the new Americano wins. This was a great match between the two with a ending I have never seen in my life. I don't know if that's ever been done before, but kudos to them to coming up with something brand new. Honestly, genuinely surprising. We get a pre-film thing from Liv Morgan saying that this has been her plan the entire time to remove Finn from the Judgment Day. She hated calling him family week to week to week. And she says they'll be better off without him. Dirty Dominic Mysterio is still the AAA champion. JD McDonough can look to more better and greater things. And Raquel Rodriguez will destroy Stephanie Vaquer tonight. And she will become the new champion at WrestleMania. It's just, old Judgment Day antics. Nothing really big here, but still nice to see. Then we get Roman Reigns and the Usos in the back. Roman explicitly says that he doesn't need an apology from CM Punk, but he'll get one for the family. Now, I know that Jimmy and Jay kind of got a They got an apology, but they didn't get an apology for exactly what they wanted. So it makes me wonder how Roman is going to get this out of Punk if Jimmy and Jay couldn't do it and they're cool with Punk. You know what I mean? Like, what could Roman say to make Punk do a complete 180 flip out of nowhere? Next, we get AJ Lee versus Bayley for the Intercontinental Championship. This was also a very good match. AJ Lee goes to do a Shining Wizard onto Bayley, and Bayley counters it by rolling over into it and then putting AJ Lee into a half Boston Crab. The way they did it, absolutely amazing. Peak wrestling right here. And aside from that, there wasn't too many crazy spots. Don't get me wrong, it was still a cool, fun match. It was everything it needed to be. It was nothing more, it was nothing less. AJ Lee retains, leading us with her more than likely going to WrestleMania as champion. JD McDonough and Adam Pearce are in the back yelling at each other. JD is advocating for Dominic Mysterio to get his rematch for the Intercontinental Championship, but we find out here that he is not medically cleared to face Penta, and this is because he retained his title and got injured in the match against Vikingo. I think it was the night before or a couple nights before this Monday Night Raw. It might have been on Saturday, so a couple nights before. While that is happening, we go to commercial break, and as we come back from commercial break, Becky Lynch is just beating the absolute crap out of AJ Lee. She still hasn't made it to the backstage area yet, so she's beating her all up in the ramp. She throws her into the giant Titantron thing, brings her back down, and then she slams her. Well, first Becky looks at the title. She picks up the title and looks at it. Then she runs at AJ Lee as, the refs. I think Adam Pearce was there as well, as lifting her up, trying to get her to the back. She runs at her, hits her right in the face with the title belt, and this is more than likely our WrestleMania match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I think it's great. I like this. Before Penta's Intercontinental Championship match tonight, they allow Penta to talk again. And I don't know, I think we're all in the common consensus that we love hearing Penta talk. And even though I don't speak Spanish fluently, I know a very small amount of Spanish, I love hearing it because you can tell there's passion behind the words that he's saying. And then when he speaks in English, it even does that much more for me as a fan watching him. And he brings up that he told Adam Pearce to give him anybody tonight. It could be anybody. And Dragon Lee comes out. We have Penta versus Dragon Lee for the Intercontinental Championship. Usually I like to bring up for the matches, like maybe one or two cool moments that happened within the match, if there are any. And in this match, there was one specific spot that was so cool, but I'm not going to tell you about it. I want you to go watch this match, because for me, in my opinion, this so far is match of the year for WWE. Match of the year for WWE. These two put on, as JR would call it, a slobber knocker. The spot was just absolutely immaculate, and it seems like these two are some of the few people in the world that could have pulled it off. Genuinely, stop the video right now. If you're watching it, just go watch that match. The highlights are on YouTube, I would assume by now. Go watch it. But come back. But come back to this video if finish it out. We then get the Vision in the back, and Austin Theory and Logan Paul vow to get Seth Rollins for Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman says, "This is a terrible idea. Nobody's scared of us anymore. We have no leverage. We have no power. We need something to get us some leverage, to get us some power, so that we can slowly integrate you guys into maybe a mid-card division title, or, maybe even a main event title." So Heyman instructs them that their next duty, as part of the Vision, as part of, I guess, Paul Heyman's vision, is for them to acquire the tag team titles from the Usos. It is said later tonight that next week on Monday Night Raw, it will be the Usos versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory for the tag team titles. The next match of the night is Nattie versus Maxxine Dupri. this, once again, was a very good match. It wasn't, way out there. It wasn't horrible. It was everything it needed to be. This was a lot of mat wrestling with a lot of good reversals. Maxxine Dupri constantly going after Nattie's ankles. And then Nattie just being like this, I don't know, like halfway wrestler, like Olympic wrestling, and then halfway brawler. I'm really enjoying this Nattie character. I'm not exactly enjoying what they're doing with Maxxine Dupri because I don't understand where we're going after this. I hope it'll all come full circle though. Either way, fantastic match. Next in the backstage area, we get Dragon Lee, of course, after his match with Penta. He's all hurt, he's a little banged up, holding his neck. Javon Evans comes out, kind of gives him a congratulations on having a fantastic match. Javon Evans is extremely happy for some reason. And Kofi Kingston shows up. Once again, he is trying to recruit Javon to join the New Day. It's kind of just Kofi right now because Grayson Waller really isn't a part of the New Day and Xavier Woods is injured. So I'm thinking Kofi wants Javon and kind of mold him into the wrestler that Kofi never was. Does that make sense? That's not a diss on Kofi, but maybe he sees so much talent in Javon that Kofi just didn't have when in his prime, so he can just mold Javon into this perfect wrestler. And Grayson Waller eventually shows up, and Kofi straight up tells him that he's hearing around the locker room as to why is Grayson Waller even around the New Day. It isn't Kofi saying this, but he hears little voices here and there saying it about him, causing a little tension between Kofi and Grayson, which I don't really understand because if he's not a part of the New Day, why is he still around? But Danhausen winds up scaring Kofi, and Danhausen, of course, he's going to every single person and being like, hey, can I join you? Hey, can I join you? He wants to join the New Day, and Kofi is just not down for that. So because of this, Danhausen says, you are, and Kofi Kingston pushes Grayson Waller right in front of the cursed. I'm assuming Grayson Waller is now cursed because they had this little spat right before it cuts to black. But Grayson Waller was like, did you just put me in front of that curse? And Kofi Kingston's like, well, I don't know. And Grayson's like, well, you have to be cursed because he was cursing you. He wasn't cursing me. I kind of hope that they both get cursed in a way. Maybe more so Grayson, but Kofi gets a little bit of the curse. So it isn't just you have to be point blank range of the curse. But even if it is, this was hilarious. This was a needed comedy segment in this fantastic episode of Raw. The next match we get is Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez. This is not for a title. This is just an exhibition match. They have, once again, on this card, for some reason, a fantastic match. Not up here, not down here, exactly what it needed to be. Liv, of course, tries to start interfering. She doesn't do too much interference, more of just getting up on the top rope and yelling at Stephanie Vaquer. This leads to Io Sky coming out to help out Stephanie Vaquer. And because of this, Raquel wants to help out Liv. So in order to do so, she sends Io Sky over the announce table. Stephanie's able to take over Raquel and get to Liv, and she disposes her into the Timekeeper's area. Once again, a lot of Timekeeper area spots these past few months on Raw and SmackDown. But because of all the shenanigans and everything, Stephanie Vaquer is able to squeak out a victory against Raquel Rodriguez by rolling her up, getting the dub here. Once again, fantastic match. I don't really care for this ending if I had to nitpick here, but no need to nitpick. No need to nitpick. Lyra and Bayley want to get to WrestleMania, and they want to do it by going after the women's tag team championships. The Kabuki Warriors show up, and Asuka looks at Bayley saying, if it was me in that match, I would be the Intercontinental Champion right now because I would not lose to AJ Lee. If you remember correctly, Bayley beat Asuka in that turmoil match last week in order to become the number one contendership for AJ Lee's title losing here tonight. So Asuka's just saying, like, I wouldn't have lost. This is setting them up for probably a feud for the Women's Tag Team Championships, which are the Irresistible Forces. I had to think about it for a second. The Usos run into LA Knight, and they all agree that they don't care about the Vision. They dislike him. They hate him, you know, all that stuff. They tell him, LA Knight, to back off of their family business when it comes to CM Punk. And LA Knight tells them that, hey, we're cool and everything, but if you're going back into this whole bloodline business, we can't be cool anymore. Even though we all dislike the Vision, and we have like the same vision for the Vision, we can't be cool if you're going to be doing this whole bloodline thing again. And as LA Knight is going to go off screen, he gives Jimmy a fist bump. He reciprocates, and then he goes to give Jay a fist bump. He does not reciprocate. LA Knight walks off screen. I think this is going to start showing cracks between Jay and LA Knight. I don't know why they would go that route, but LA Knight's got like nothing going on right now. He's not in a main event picture. He's not in a tag title picture. He's not in a mid-card picture. He has no feud. His one storyline, like I said at the top of this video, was with Paul Heyman inside the ambulance. And we still have no idea what LA Knight did with Paul Heyman inside the ambulance. Not a clue. And then to end off this show, we have Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Now, like I said, this was a fantastic episode of Raw. I genuinely believe this was the lowest point of Raw. Even though it's our main event for WrestleMania, I feel like this was the lowest point. CM Punk hit a nerve when he talked about Roman's father and burying him next to him. I don't need that kind of level every week, but I need something more than what we were given here tonight. They talked about how Punk is inside Roman's head. He's able to play these mind games with him. Roman comes back saying, you know, basically doing the reverse. No, I'm actually in your head. You just want to make it seem like you have me wrapped around your finger, which, I don't know, I think Roman's kind of right, because all Roman did was call CM Punk old, and that was enough for CM Punk to punch him in the face. Punk talked about Roman's dead father and burying Roman next to him, and Roman kept his composure. But you call CM Punk old, and that's crossing a line. I don't know, man. One thing I really did like is Roman in the middle, or closer to the end of the promo, but somewhere in the middle, he says a line that punctuate his thoughts. He goes to walk out, and Punk walks in front of him. Roman tries to go off the other side. He doesn't run or anything. He just does a slight walk. Punk goes again. And then Roman is able to go through the ropes. Punk hops through the ropes onto the outside of the ring and says, "This is my show. This is my belt. That is my ring. I tell you when you get to leave." I thought that was an awesome moment. I just think that the last punctuating thing of calling Punk old and that being the line that is crossed, it just didn't hit hard enough. Like, everything up until that moment was just not pure genius, but it was, you know, these two are on a different level of promo skills. They did a fantastic job here. So like I said, this is probably the best Monday Night Raw of the year. And in my opinion, it has the match of the year for WWE so far. I think I gotta give this like, dude, this is close. Like a 4.8. A 4.8. If I'm being real nitpicky, there were a few things here or there that could have been done a little better. Like I just said, the whole Punk being old line, that was a little weak. I don't know. I think that might be the main, or LA Knight's and Paul Heyman's story not being told, even though we got Paul Heyman here. Why aren't we told what happened between LA Knight and Paul Heyman? I still don't understand that. So you know what? That's 2 things, 0.2 away from a perfect score. I think that's 4.8 stars out of 5. Best show of the year in WWE, period. Anyways, that is my review of the March 16th, 2026 edition of Monday Night Raw. Once again, let me know down in those comments below, what did you think about this Monday Night Raw? What do you think about Punk and Roman? What do you think about the Americanos? What do you think about the Vision or anything else that was on the show? Let me know down in those comments below. And if you're down there, if you enjoyed the video, you watched this long, if you enjoyed it, you might as well hit the like button and the subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and the notification bell so you can know every single time this channel uploads. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you again next time.